God, the lighting, sweet Jesus. Does that help? God, I don't know. I can't tell because one of my lights is incredibly bright and like directly in my face, and like, okay, it's actually like, it's better, brighter. All right. Thank God for editing, right? Let's fix my little hair. Let's make sure I'm all good to go. Hey, y'all. I'm Draco Self Important, and I think you should listen to me. So, I'm starting a series about my life. And you ask yourself, why the should I listen to stories about your life? Well, I'm a very interesting character, as they say. Um, just a couple of things to list off to kind of start us off. I am a 41-year-old trans single father of three, two of which would live with me, one does not, and that in itself is a story. Um, that's a rough one. I am currently being sued by the Satanic Temple, like the Satanic Temple, like not Anton LaVey's Church of Satan. No, 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 they're not litigious. No, no, like Google it. There's a Newsweek article about queer Satanist being sued by the Satanic Temple. They sued Newsweek about the article as well, so that's super fun. Um, I have sourced a lot of documents, and in fact, Jesus, gotten some shit I wouldn't have gotten that I'm pretty sure the county wasn't supposed to send me regarding the murder that was entirely too close to home. Um, in 2010, it was 9/10. There was a crossover. There's some debate about the dates. But for sure, 2010, my at the time husband came home and in not so many words, told me that one of his best friends of a Three Musketeers trio sort of a situation uh, asked him to help dispose of that dude's fucking wife's fucking body. Yeah, my life is still fucked up from that shit, and that motherfucker roams free. Um, but because it's a case that I'm involved in, my my dead name is on some of the paperwork because I was babysitting their kid. Um, Kid's doing very well as far as I know, by the way, so won't be mentioning anything identifiable about the kid because not their fucking fault, and I want them to live as peaceful a life as they can. Um, luckily there was family there to pick up the slack. Um, what else about me? I have an alphabet soup of mental health disorders and neurodivergencies. Um, I don't know. Let's start some. Bipolar 2, CPTSD, ADHD. I have been told I'm probably autistic, which is like a fun time. Um, I did not come to this conclusion until I was an adult, and it's really hard in the area that I'm in to find a provider to do an official diagnosis for an adult. It requires, I believe, it's a neuropsychologist is the profession, the specialty. Um, if there's anyone who would like to do it for free online, I would love to give you all of my shit. Like, please, God, get me an actual diagnosis. It would probably help me out greatly in a lot of areas. But I kind of just, because of that, disclosing that to my providers, we just kind of assume that that's the case, and that has helped best with my treatment. So it kind of lends to the fact that it is. Um, as a trans dude, I was raised a girl. and so girls are not often diagnosed as autistic, even if they are. Especially not when we're talking about 80s slash 90s kids. This was not a thing. So it is not at all surprising that I flew under the radar, despite the fact that I was a train wreck in school the entire time. Like, if you didn't provide me with some sort of ridiculous rewards, oh my god, okay, I'm going off the rails here. I thought that I might call this something ridiculous like Tranny Tales, but I realized that the channel itself is just a channel about me, so I don't necessarily need to make this a separate series. I think when I do the shit regarding the murder, I will probably make that kind of a separate thing, more produced than my storytime videos. Um, I've got visuals, I've got audio clips. I'm gonna like true crime. I'm gonna make it a documentary. It's going to happen to be a true crime documentary because that's like the subject matter. It is what it is. But I don't intend to make true crime content. This is not something that I would be making if not for the fact that it fucked up my entire existence. Um, and I think it's important that people realize that violent crimes affect, like, there's a ripple effect, man. You know that it affects the immediate family. You know it affects the person that's actually gone. You know, like, those things are obvious, right? Like, it affects the kids, it affects brothers, sisters, mothers, blah blah blah. But nobody thinks about all of the, like, people on the outskirts. You know, like, people develop relationships with a myriad of people in a bunch of different ways, and people rely on each other. And you know, when you do something like that that kind of like tears at the fabric of society, it really messes with people's psyche. Um, and I think to some, no, to a large degree, a lot of the problems that I have are based on other people's reactions from that. Um, you know, knowing that you can like murder a like 5 foot one or two, like 100-pound woman as a 6 foot, I think, one or two dude, maybe three, I don't remember. You know, he was a dude who was active duty in the military at the time, not having any problems with PT. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was physically fit. She was out. She was tiny. Like, I cannot imagine a scenario in the world where he would have been threatened enough to actually take her life. Like, I've read everything. I tried. I'm going to make an attempt to get recordings of the interviews. I've got transcripts of them, but the transcripts are very dry. I feel like I can hear them in his voice because I knew him. I don't know him. It's been too long. I can't say I know him, but I knew him, and so I feel like I can hear the tone. But I don't know how accurate it is. Um, I don't know, man. I knew a bank robber once. That's fun. I am incredibly inspired by Kevin Smith. He described himself many times, and I think probably still does, as a storyteller. That is his calling. All of the ways that he does that are just ways to tell stories, and I feel like I resonate with that. I want to at some point produce music. I've been making more like physical art, like, you know, painting, and I've been working with resin and like multimedia, like physical, you know. Um, I need to make something to get all this out. Um, July 2023, this past July, I lost my little brother. It's a queer chosen family thing. He was not my biological brother, just to be clear, in case there's anyone out there on the internet who wants to make a real fucking hassle about that. But that man is my brother. I can't say he was because he is. He's gone, but he's still my brother. Um, and so I want to also, you know, kind of touch on addiction and a lot of mental health shit. I'm real fucked up about that man. Like, he was my absolute best friend. He was my go-to for everything. And like, it's been a real hard time to stay topside, you know? Um, and quite frankly, I've made attempts not to. And those are some stories as well. So, I've got stories to tell. The initial might not be super duper exciting because it's like I gotta start somewhere, right? I gotta start with the like back in 1982, blah 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 blah. Because like, if you don't know the background of this shit, like I don't know, man. I love to know people's stories. I want to know where people came from. I want to know why people are weird. I want to know these things. Um, and I'm like, I don't know, man. TLDR, if you want to hear a bunch of weird fucking stories from a tranny who's fucking trashy as hell, here I am. Like, that's. So, I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania, uh, on the border of West Virginia. You want to picture all of the Appalachian rumors, nightmares, stereotypes that you have ever thought. Banjos playing deliverance. Yeah, that's where I come from. I come from the city at the bottom of the mountain, whatever, whatever. It was a really weird dichotomy because there was like up on top of the mountain there was a like resort town situation, and so the kids who like actually lived up there, money. There was like one neighborhood in the actual little town that I lived in where those kids also money. Otherwise, it was a lot of fucking like working class at best. A lot of fucking welfare. Highest teen pregnancy rate in the state, in the county where I grew up. Yeah, if you really want to, you can look that up. It's not really difficult to find me because the Satanic Temple sued me. My information is public. So, like, please don't come murder me. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I'm not afraid of being doxxed because my fucking shit was put in Newsweek and no one has come to murder me. I think probably since the Satanic Temple is the one that's suing me, the crazy murdery people usually tend to be the religious people, and so they probably assume that I'm on the good side because Satan's suing me. I don't know. They probably don't realize that they're suing me because I didn't, like, serve them in a way that they like. So, like, uh, I took my ball and went home. That's that is my official statement. I took my ball and went home. South Park style. Screw you guys. I'm going home. I put a lot of work into a lot of shit that I was really fucking passionate about, and they did not value that work, and they shit all over me, and so I took my fucking ball and went home. And didn't take any of their stuff, didn't do anything with their stuff, and happened to be associated with other people. And so here I am getting sued. 100%. I think the only reason that I, in particular, am included in this lawsuit is because I have a big fucking mouth. And at some point, this lawsuit will end, and I will not be associated with those other kids. And that is the only reason that I have not been out here running my mouth. I have nothing to lose. I have zero property and nothing but debt. So, like, what are you getting from me in civil court? My bankruptcy filing? You're just delaying my bankruptcy filing. That's what you're doing. Because my bankruptcy is going to be complicated as fuck because of my student loans. So I cannot add a goddamn civil suit on top of it if the shit comes down halfway through. Like, that's what it boils down to. Because I can't get rid of these fucking student loans. I can't get a job to actually pay for the student loans. And that is the debt that is ruining my entire goddamn existence. My God, please go watch Last Week Tonight. John Oliver covered it beautifully. It's on YouTube for free if you don't have Max. However, fuck corporations or whatever, but I really love John Oliver, so I have Max because I want to watch all of the episodes because, like, genuinely, that's like the primary reason that I like having that service. I don't pay for it, for the record. My partner pays for it, just so that we're super extra transparent. I don't pay for shit. Everything in my existence at this point is either coming from assistance from the parents of my kids or the government. And my partner helps with, gas and things here and there, like, excuse me. um, I don't want to rely on my partner. So like I try not to, I'm trying to be like a big boy. I don't know, man. It's it's been since November of 2022. No, October of 2022 since I worked. My official quit date was in November because it took me 2 weeks of calling out every day to realize that I was not going to be able to go back. And that's the story as well. I worked for a place that I actually really like. Um, I have definitely worked for places that I have not liked. It was not the employer that was the issue. It was the job, and the nature of the job is what it is, but it just wore me down. I think there definitely are things that they could change about it to make it um, easier for people to deal with, but I wasn't going to be able to, like, looking overall at the employer, at the job, at the whatever, like I've definitely dealt with worse. I would probably work for them again if provided, the circumstances lined up, whatever. Um, but my God, there are things that could change. And the thing that's the most fucked up is the goddamn HR department was the most fucked up and difficult to deal with department out of the whole goddamn place. From the moment that I walked through the fucking door, my entry level position was just, oh my God. The experience was made worse by like one of the senior members of the HR department, and as I progressed, I just kept going up the ranks of shitty fucking members of that fucking department, right up to the fucking like top ranking. She was one of the like VPs or whatever. Oh my God, it was a fucking. She's a nightmare, and yeah, like. Far before I had to deal with her on a personal level, I had to go to one of those, like, everybody in the company has to show up at some sort of big high school pep rally fucking bullshit things that they think is going to make you. All it does is take the people who actually think for themselves and make them go, oh, you're trying to program us. Fuck. God damn it. I thought you were actually, like, you cared about us as individuals. God damn it. Sometimes they can trick you into thinking that they care about you as humans, like corporate employers. I like to think that they do. I think that there are individuals there that do, but on the whole, the people who make the big decisions think of the employees as an expense. It's a thing that you have to pay for to get the money in. It's not a collection of human beings with wants, needs, families, health, not health, whatever. Like, yeah. And, like, it's just, I don't know, man. So, anywho, if you are not someone who is down for someone who's going to digress a lot, I bid you a good day. Like, I'm going to need to tell you 47 stories for every story that I tell you. Every time I tell a story, I'm going to come to some point in the story that if you don't know the background of the story, what I'm saying is not going to make any goddamn sense. And so I'm going to have to tell you a side story. Um, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking that perhaps I might like want to tag things in chapters and whatnot, and I might get to that point, but right now I'm not committing to shit other than, telling you who I am. So, we know I have kids. We know I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania. When I was 16 years old, back that up. When I was 15 years old, met my first husband, hanging out in the coffee shop where I always hung out. There was a local band playing some high school shit, and I'm standing there, and my mother at that point, I think she was on SSI or welfare, whatever. We had no fucking money, is the moral of the story. And so I'm standing next to this dude who I don't remember ever seeing before. Parentheses there. He apparently had hung out at that place for a long time. Like, basically since it opened, which is basically when I had started hanging out there. So it had been, I don't know, a year ish, maybe more. I'm bad I'm really bad at remembering time frames. So if you try to hold me to specific time frames, unless I have documents in front of me that tell me the date, like, suck it up. I'm not going to remember it right. I'm going to remember the basic order. And if you're trying to, whatever. Um, so he'd been hanging out there for quite a while. Hanging out with friends of mine, in fact. Was there with my friend Dave, like, a lot. And I didn't notice him, and it's because prior to that he'd had a mullet, like, not like one of those cute little, like, wolf cut mullets that people do these days. No, no, I am talking business in the front, fucking party in the back. Shit was like halfway down his shoulder blades, curly fucking. I've seen pictures. I don't remember seeing it in person, but I'm almost certain that I did, and my little brain just tuned him out. It was just like, nope, that's that's not a human that I want to interact with. Because in 1990 whatever, someone with that level of mullet was clearly not someone who was, like, you know, with it, as it were. If you are that far behind in your presentation to the world, your mental state is probably not come along any faster. So but he cut his hair, and he showed up with a decent haircut. And I think literally, like, the first fucking time I saw him with an actual haircut, I was like, oh, that guy's cute. In retrospect, he's not really that cute. He has no chin. If the dude shaves, he looks a fool. But, but he had a goatee, so it gave him the illusion of a chin, and he had cute little freckles, and he was like a daywalker, like auburn hair kind of a situation. And we're standing there, and we're like, like jamming to whatever music, and I said to him in my 15-year-old super smooth way, I'm thirsty, but I don't have any money. And he said, if you come with me to the ATM, I will buy you a drink. And so my stupid ass walks as a 15-year-old child with his 20-year-old man to the fucking ATM. Luckily, he did not want to rape and murder me. Hooray! Little did I know that he had only slept, or no, he hadn't even. He had only dated one person before me who was also a 15-year-old girl. That's fucking weird, right? I was not a girl, but I thought I was at the time. Yada, yada, you get it. Um, but just to, like, brief aside on that, the very first, like, serious relationship I ever had, I initiated anal sex. Like, it, looking back at everything about me and not realizing that I was a fucking gay dude, like, there were times I'd be like, I feel like a gay dude, and I just thought that was like some shitty thing that, like, girls said to, like, no, like, those dudes who were like, I think I'm a male lesbian. In retrospect, I think a lot of those dudes in the 90s who thought they were male lesbians were actually just lesbians. Like, women ones, and hadn't put the shit together yet. Like, not everybody. Not everybody. There's some dudes who are just like, I'm a male lesbian. Whatever, fine, cool, you do you. But for sure, there are people that I had conversations with in the past who called themselves male lesbians, who are now just lesbians. So, me going, I feel like a gay man, I feel like a gay man. Now, if we want to get super extra technical, I am bisexual. but primarily homoromantic. I'm not sure that I could maintain a long-term relationship with a woman. I just, I don't know. I don't know. But could I bang them? Yes. Boobies! Like, hooray. Currently, I don't want to bang anybody, but my love, oh my god, oh my god. Aside, I had a dream about him that was the most vivid vision of a cock I've ever seen in a dream in my life. It was like my brain took a photo of it, and the fun part is it was like closer to that time I did mushrooms and then we did stuff, and so it was like extra vivid. It wasn't as purpley then, but it was very shiny. I digress. Um, it was purplier in person with the mushrooms shinier in the dream, just in case anyone was concerned. Yes, I have been drinking. I'm just as ridiculous when I haven't been, however, but I'm probably a little sillier. I think that lowering my inhibitions is probably going to be helpful for this because I definitely want to get the shit out there, and because my alphabet soup, one of them is generalized anxiety disorder, and so it's very easy for me to get in my head, and having something that lowers my inhibitions so that I don't do that is definitely helpful in this particular goal. Um, what else do I want to start with? So yeah, meet this dude at the coffee shop. Buys me a drink. An Italian soda, because that's what I wanted. I like a cinnamon Italian soda. Thank you. I didn't get them with cream back in the day. Currently, I will get some sort of weird fruity shit with some cream. Probably cinnamon with cream as well. It seems very horchata-esque, which, P.S., love horchata. Partner loves horchata. Um, and my brother loved horchata. It was his favorite as well. Um, so I start dating this dude kind of on the sly because I know goddamn well that my mother is going to flip her shit if she finds out that I'm dating a 20-year-old. We don't sleep together until about 2 weeks before I turn 16. The age of consent in Pennsylvania is 16, BT dubs. Um, we did not make that. It might not have been 2 weeks. It was real close to my birthday. Like, I think that if you would have ended up before a judge, you probably would have been able to skirt by. But almost fucking immediately, I get knocked up. Now, we were using condoms, but I apparently own a vacuum cleaner for genitals. And so I will suck those motherfucking things off like they were never there to begin with. I cannot tell you the amount of times in my life with the variety of people that I have had to dig out some fluid-filled latex from my innards. However, when I was 16 in 1990, whatever the fuck, because I'm not doing the math, I did not know that Plan B was a thing. It was at that point, by the way. I could have just gone to fucking Planned Parenthood. But my mother at the time told me, just come to me. But I knew goddamn well if I came to her that she would lock down my movements like I was a fucking prisoner. And so I'd never be able to get laid anyway. So what the fuck would be the point in going to her? Uh, so I didn't, and no one had educated me about Plan B. Literally, I tell like every fucking teenager that I have any kind of like actual contact with that I like, hey, you know, you can go to Planned Parenthood on your own, right? Like when you're 13, you could like go by yourself without your parents to prevent yourself from like contracting diseases and getting knocked up. Would be great, because had I known that, I'd have gone and gotten fucking birth control and wouldn't have fucking got knocked up to begin with. But there was no way for me to tell my mother what was going on. So like, you know, as much as you want to be like, you can definitely come to me, you also want to be like, but you can also do it on your own, because you should be able to take care of yourself because I don't want to be a grandfather before any of my children have graduated high school. I don't know. It just seems like not a good plan for me. Um, so I like condom comes off in me. I dig it out. I somehow, like, I will swear to you, I know in this moment exactly what is happening. I am 100% certain it is just a fucking countdown. I just wait to miss the fucking period. I'm like, oh my god, like, I know what's happening. And had I had the option and the awareness to take the fucking plan B, this whole fucking traumatic fucking bullshit would not have fucking happened. But so that I figure it out because I'm like, oh no, period's late. I skip school one day, and my at this point 21, was he 20? Yeah, he was 21 but hadn't had the birthday party yet, I think, or maybe just shy of 21. I don't remember. No, he had to have been, whatever, 21-ish year old dude, me 16-year-old ish kid. I skip school, go back to his parents' house where he's living, take a pregnancy test comes up positive. This motherfucker, I'm standing in front of him, he's sitting on a recliner, he grabs me by the hips and kisses my belly. That sounds really cute, right? I told him from the moment that I like met him, essentially, that all I've ever wanted was kids. And as I sit here as a 41-year-old man with kids, yeah, that's all I ever wanted, and I have them, and I love them, and they are my priority, and I would die for them, and I would murder for them, and etc. etc. So like, yes, that was absolutely something that was like my entire drive, my entire existence, everything from the moment that I could like have a real goal was kids, 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 kids. Am I the best parent in the world? Fuck no, dude. No, I kind of suck a lot. I try real fucking hard. I try to improve. I try to take feedback. I try to use the resources available to me. Like, I'm definitely, like, trying to be the best parent that I can be, but I'm not the best. But, like, that's legit. Like, that's what I wanted to do forever and ever, and he knew this. And so then he kisses my belly, and then, like, I had already at this point, because my mom had caught me doing some shit, I had an appointment to go to a gynecologist with her, and so we were like, okay, we'll just find out there. um, and so then she proceeds to go on a campaign of telling me to get rid of it, and tells me that when she was in high school she did the exact same thing. Reminds me that she was born when my grandmother was 17 and how much that fucked up her life. And I'm like, yeah, but like, he's got 2 jobs and like a car